Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and we did it. We made it. We're here. The NFL season has finally begun, and we're going to start looking ahead to the lines for week one, try to find some early values, and the Labor Day weekend is that big signal that the NFL season has begun, which is great because no more theoretical football. We got real football to talk about, and to help me break it all down is Pat Fitzmaurice. And Fitzy, you can follow, obviously, at bettingpros.com/Fitz, or you can follow me at bettingpros.com/Joe and get in all the things that we're getting in. I know this weekend we're kind of going to coalesce around some games, our favorite picks, and we want you to be involved in that too. Don't forget, bettingpros.com/NFL contest. Go join. I'm in there. Fitzy's in there. We're all going to be joining this incredible, it's a competition. Let's call it what it is. And the way you do it is to go ahead and look for that community tab and just click that on the app and go find the NFL contest, or just go to bettingpros.com/NFL contest. All you have to do is make 5 picks a week, and the winner on the season is going to win the JSN autographed jersey, which is awesome. We're going to have weekly winners too. We're going to have monthly winners. We're giving away swag from Betting Pros, from Fantasy Pros. The new logos are up. 1-year premium subscriptions to both apps. Amazing. And all you got to do is make a minimum of 100 picks during the season. So join from day one so you can get that jersey. If you're in on week one, there's a better chance you can be the overall winner. But remember, you can join anytime you want, and it's theoretical picking, and that's a great thing. And gosh darn it, Pat, I'm just happy football is back. And this is one of my favorite things, because one of the signals of the new week and a fresh start is always this look ahead show that we do every week, which we will be doing in season every Monday. And this is like the biggest one, because this is the beginning of the season. And also, we know week one always gets wacky.
Yeah, we got a full dose of college football under our belts, and now we are days away from the Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit Lions kicking off the new season. I can't wait, Joe. It's been a great summer. A lot of golf, a lot of cookouts, but I'm ready for football, man.
Yes, I am too. So let's start with that game. Kansas City is hosting the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football. The best number you can get over on Betting Pro. So we're going to be looking through this. So 6.5 on FanDuel on the spread, the plus side for Detroit. The minus on Kansas City at -110, 6.5. The 54.5 is the total right now, the best one you can get in the over, which is also on FanDuel. And then DK, you can get 53.5. And this is why the Betting Pros app is the best. Okay, as I'm talking through these numbers, you'll see the different houses. You get the best numbers all over the place. Obviously, Detroit, the heavy underdog on the money line, plus 240, as they should be. The one number I keep coming back to on this one is it's early. So I think the 53.5, on the under, it feels like a big number to me for a Thursday night game to start the season, where I just don't know if everybody's on the same page and ready to go yet. So if anything on this game, I'm looking towards the under a little bit. How about you, Pat? How do you see this one?
Well, Joe, over the last 8 season openers the Kansas City Chiefs have played, they have averaged 36.4 points. Like, if you give
you're bringing me back around. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, if you give Andy Reid like weeks, months to prepare for like an offensive game plan, look out. And the weird thing is, Joe, Kansas City has won 8 straight season openers under Andy Reid. But in those 8 straight wins, they have allowed no fewer than 20 points in any of those wins. So it's not like their defense has been all that fine-tuned. The average point total in those 8 games has been 60.3 points. So I actually do think there might be a little bit of value in the over here, Joe. Like, I think we're going to see some points, especially Chris Jones missed the entire preseason with his holdout for the Chiefs. Him not being around is or playing a reduced role. That's a big thing. Like, he is a linchpin on their defense.
True. Yeah.
So, I think, Joe, the Lions are going to be sort of fired up. We have both sort of agreed that the Lions hype train has gotten a little too much.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Dan Campbell does seem like a pretty good motivator. And I think he's going to have his team pretty fired up to prove that they belong on this big stage. I mean, we know the Lions were a surprise selection for this game. No one saw that, and a lot of people were like, whoa, the league is really all in on the Lions this year. I don't know if they really belong here, but they might be out to prove a point that they do belong. And we know the Chiefs sometimes aren't great as a big home favorite. They struggle to cover some of these big numbers at times. And I'd love to see this number get to 7. I don't know if it's going to get there. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to my fingers hovering over the button to take the Lions, Joe. But I'm not there just yet.
Yeah, this game doesn't really move the needle for me. Again, I keep going back to that total, although the stats you just threw at me with the Andy Reid preparation now have sent shivers down my spine. However, again, it's can Detroit keep up their end of the bargain too with some of the new things they're going to be running through here, and this is the measuring stick, right? And I think Detroit's going to learn real quick how good they really are. This game to me is more of a prop game. I'm looking for the Kelsey numbers. I'm looking for some Patrick Mahomes numbers. That stuff where I think feel a little bit more confident. Maybe the Amon-Ra St. Brown reception number over, like that's kind of how I'm attacking this game as opposed to the lines. Houston, Baltimore. Let's move on here to Sunday. The total for this one, you get at 44 right now across the board pretty much. You're getting obviously Baltimore heavy favorites here. -10 is the best one you can get right now for this. If you like Houston to upset the Baltimore Ravens at +375, I don't think you're going to get that. But Pat, any love for this game whatsoever? Any early value in your opinion?
Yeah, more week one trends for you, Joe. Since John Harbaugh began coaching the Ravens in 2008, they are 7-1 in home week one games. And they've outscored their opponents, even factoring in that one loss. They've outscored their opponents by an average of 19.4 points a game. So their last three opponents in home openers in week one have scored 7 points or fewer. And the Ravens are good. The Texans are bad. The Ravens are tough at home. I'm going to lay the points here. I don't mind the big number.
It is a big number, especially this time of year, but I'm leaning that way as well. In fact, my favorite thing of this is probably to make some money, go for Zay Flowers anytime touchdown scorer in this game. That's the one that's going to stand out to me. Wherever you get a good plus money number on that one, you're going to get it everywhere. I would look for that one. I am in on Zay Flowers this year. Carolina and Atlanta. Let's go. The Bijan Robinson debut. I'm excited for this. Also, the Bryce Young debut. Now, the number you're getting on this one, the best over is at Sugar House at 40. That's a flat number right now. The under 39.5 you can get on DK at -108. So far, Atlanta 4-point favorites in this one. That's the way this is looking. You can get Carolina at +3.5. If you like Carolina for the just straight up upset, it's +160. I guess the biggest concern I have right now in this game, and the reason why I think this line is kind of on the right side, even I like Atlanta. 4 is kind of like pushing the envelope for me here, but I keep coming back to the protection or lack thereof of Bryce Young, and that worries me a little bit in this game. How do you feel about this one in the early look in week one?
Yeah, it's weird that line hasn't been better. I mean, they've got Ike Ekwonu, who's one of the better young offensive linemen. James Campen is a really good offensive line coach. The Panthers did look terrible in the preseason, Joe. They lost all three of their games. They were humiliated by the Jets 27-0. But even though the Falcons have become sort of this public darling, I think this year, or at least in the NFC South. Do you
think they're the public darling, or do you think they're the sharp darling? Because I feel like all the sharps we've had on this show, and I'm not going to throw myself in that grouping, but I was on the Falcons going into this season as well. Almost every sharp person we've had on the show has been pointing to the Falcons. But do you think they're public yet?
They might not be. It might be more of a sharp darling thing. I think you're right on that. But I do think they're getting more attention in the NFC South. And I know people I've talked to who have bet NFC South division winner have all been on the Falcons almost unanimously. It's kind of weird. And I still think the Panthers can be the equal of the Falcons, believe it or not, Joe. As bad as they've looked in the preseason, I think Bryce Young could possibly hit stride early just because he's this high floor guy who everyone says is kind of a savant as a playmaker. And I think he's going to get to his max potential pretty quickly. Maybe not week one of his rookie season, but pretty quickly. And Frank Reich really does have one of the best staffs of assistant coaches in the league, just kind of all-star assistants at more or less coaching every unit. So I think this team could be a sneaky overachiever. I actually kind of like that you're getting the hook at 3.5 here. So I've taken the Panthers. I took them a while ago. I'm probably not going to double down and put any additional money on the Panthers, but I sort of like them as a sneaky cover here in what should be a pretty low scoring game. Let's face it. I mean, the Falcons love to run the ball, as they should with Desmond Ridder at quarterback. The Panthers offense, not really ready for prime time just yet. These are not high-powered offenses, Joe. I think this could be a rock fight. low scoring game. So I kind of like the Panthers with the points and the under here.
Yeah, look, I see where you're going in these in-division matchups too. Whenever we open up the season with those, I think that's always, a fun thing because those games are typically a little tougher to gauge regardless, because there's familiarity. But there's so much new here, new quarterback in Carolina, obviously Bijan, which is still waiting for some of those numbers to come out on him. We have a lot of Carolina props, but again, I'm attacking the individuals in this game more than I'm attacking the game itself because there's a little bit more unknown there. Let's go to another one too. Cincinnati, maybe a limited Joe Burrow. It looks like potentially we're still getting more updates here as we're approaching the weekend on that. They're going to go to Cleveland to play the Browns, and this is, I know this is so dumb, Pat, because it's week 1, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is kind of a statement for the Browns. I feel like week 1, like you can go out there and potentially get an upset in this game if you are the Cleveland Browns and really make a statement. The number here for Cleveland is +2.5. They are home dogs, which we always love. And if there is a moment here of, where maybe Joe B's a little rusty, maybe you catch him napping a little bit, maybe the Bengals think, hey, we're the class of the AFC, we're going to go prove it, we overlook the Cleveland Browns. This is a big show me game, and I think one of the ones that I circle on this week 1 schedule that I think Cleveland has a shot. The number is 48 on the total. If you like Cleveland to win outright, you get +120 on the money line. That's how I would approach this one, to be honest with you. I like this Cleveland number on the plus money. Home dogs, we always love. In division, they've got new weapons like Elijah Moore. Nick Chubb's going to run the hell out of the football. Hopefully Watson can continue to bounce back. To me, this is the big trap game of the week. How do you feel about this one?
Same here, Joe. Money line seems like a really good play on the Browns to me.
Yeah.
And I think this would be a reasonable shot to take, even if Joe Burrow was totally fine and had never gotten hurt and had a full preseason or whatever. But with Burrow being iffy too, and you're going to give us that path, like if we don't see a sharp Joe Burrow. So yeah, I do like this one. I also kind of like the under here. Joe, it seems like a really high total. We know that Cleveland Browns Stadium can be one of the windiest places to play. And that, like, the wind can wreak havoc with passing and kicking games. So like that total seems pretty tall with weather, wind possibly being a factor and Joe Burrow maybe not being 100%.
Yeah, it's not that like Joe Burrow can't still be good. It's just,
oh, sure,
he hasn't played football in 4 weeks, right? Like, I'm just kind of throwing that out there, and then he's going on the road. And there's a lot of things here where I think, if anything, Pat, I would continue to watch his money line number because it's sitting at +120 on BP right now. And this is why you download the app. We have the new redesign. This is how you stay on top of all the notifications of all of the lines that move when you sync your sports books. This is the glory of betting pros and what we're trying to do here. Is that I think when the Joe Burrow's good to go, he's cleared, everything's great. I think this line's going to move a little bit, and I think that +120 goes up to +130 or 150 even. And when it does, I'm going to bet it there too, because I think that's exactly what's going to happen. On the next game here on our list in week 1, San Fran goes to Pittsburgh. Another home dog, Fitzy. I'm licking my chops on this one. We still have no Nick Bosa news as of today, as of us recording this. Now, again, that could change at any moment. It seemed that Brock Purdy's going to get the start. They are the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2.5-point underdogs here on DK, -110. That's the best number you can get right now. 41 is the number, sometimes 41.5 in some other spots. But once again, I'm looking at Pittsburgh here as a potential upset where San Fran is still trying to kind of find its way a little bit, in my opinion. I think the Steelers are going to pull San Francisco down to their level, make them play in the mud. They're going to run the football and run the football and run the football some more. And I like Pittsburgh to win this game outright too.
I like everything you said, Joe, except the part about Pittsburgh pulling San Francisco down to their level, because I don't think they really have to pull them down. Like Pittsburgh went 7-2 after their bye last week, and they ranked sixth in total DVOA over that stretch. They were one of the best teams in the league over the second half of the 2022 regular season. And we know, Mike Tomlin, regular season winning percentage of .636 in his 16 years as head coach of the Steelers, never has had a sub 500 season. Pittsburgh is a really live dog here against a West Coast team coming out east, and Pittsburgh has looked great in the preseason. Like that offense has actually been humming with Kenny Pickett and company, and the defense has added some really nice pieces. Joe, like I don't get this line. I think this should be like a pick 'em. I think it should be a pick 'em, like huge value. This is my favorite play of the week.
I don't know if it's going to move either because, Pittsburgh is a very public team, right? There's a lot of Steeler fans everywhere. So I don't know if there's going to be any momentum switch on this game. All I know is it's good enough where it is right now to invest in it now and then wait and see. And maybe you get lucky, like, ooh, I'm glad I did when I did. And maybe it gets even better, like I'm saying about the Browns, where I might just bet it a second time, get a better number on it, and just stay with the theme. Also, if you're watching the show here, don't forget to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel because we're going to be hosting NFL shows here almost every single day during the season, talking about props, talking about betting. We're doing our Thursday night football previews, our Monday night football previews. So when you subscribe and drop a comment below, you could win an Aaron Jones autographed jersey, thanks to, of course, Betting Pros. So all you have to do, again, subscribe, click the little bell till it goes ding, and drop a comment below. Give us your picks for week 1. Who do you like? Who do you not like? You tell us. And the Aaron Jones jersey can be yours. That's it. It's real simple, but don't forget to click the bell so you know exactly if you are the winner of the Aaron Jones jersey. Let's get to the next game on our list here, Fitzy. The Washington Commanders, 7-point home favorites. I haven't said those words in a long time, I feel like. The words Washington Commanders and 7-point home favorites really just never quite come to fruition, but the Arizona Cardinals are that bad. 38.5 is the number here on this bad boy pretty much across the board. I do not like Arizona. The upset plus 265. If anything, Fitzy, this is kind of a stay away from me. Maybe the 38.5, I'm on the under just because. But again, this game just doesn't have all that much appeal to me. Too many weird moving parts. And sometimes like the teams that aren't great are the hardest when they play each other to really make a good wager on.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Washington, Joe, not a team that really engenders a great deal of public confidence in the last several decades. And but is it possible the Commanders are going to be like the most popular survivor pool pick this week against the Cardinals?
I didn't even think
the
about
Cardinals
that,
are going to be
probably.
People are just going to follow the Cardinals around in survivor pools like band groupies this year. Like who are the Cardinals playing? I'm picking their opponent. And it's hard to push the button on the Commanders as a 7-point favorite. I'm pushing the button on the Commanders, Joe. Like the Cardinals don't even want to win. Like they are in full on tank mode. And I'm also pushing the button on the under. Like you've got this Cardinals offense. It's going to be so putrid.
Yeah, I like the under too.
And then you've got Sam Howell as a first-time starter on the other side of the ball. So like, I don't know how this game.
Even if Washington looks good, right? Like McLaurin is still nowhere near 100%. I love Dotson. Dotson, anytime touchdown score. I love that plus money too. You're getting go find it, go bet it on Betting Pros, like your sports books. But Washington, to me, that 38.5 still like this game feels like what 21-7 to me, right? 21-10.
Yeah.
Like that 38.5, I think is a very and that would be great. Like Washington putting up a couple scores. Like that's great. We love that. Like 20-10 feels like this game. 38.5. I know it sounds low, but I don't think it's low enough. Tennessee. Go ahead, Pat. You had more on this?
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah. Like, I mean, you might even want to shop for an alternate total and push that number down a little bit to get like some plus money on it.
I would push it to 37.5, if not maybe 36.5, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Like, I think Arizona's going to be up against it. Traveling first week, I don't think. And plus, I imagine, the new ownership feel like that crowd's going to be excited, right? You kind of exercising the demons. They're excited to see Sam Howell make his big, start of the season, all that stuff. Here's one that's, again, tough. And this is why Vegas is agreeing. The Tennessee Titans traveling to New Orleans. Even money here on the 3. You're getting 3 on the Titan side, the +3 as underdogs here at Caesars. You're getting -3.5 on New Orleans over at MGM. And then, look, pretty much 41 is this number across the board. If you like Tennessee for the upset, it's +165 on the money line. Fitzy, I think Vegas is kind of throwing up their hands on this one, and I don't blame them. I would lean towards New Orleans here, and I would actually lean on them to cover just because I still feel like Tennessee has a lot of kinks to work out.
Yeah, that might be the case, Joe. And if you do like the Saints, I think people should try to odd shop on this one, since as you just mentioned, like the line does seem like it's wavering between 3 and 3.5. So if you like the Saints, look around and get it at 3. because that's a key number, obviously. I don't personally like the Saints in this one. I'm just, as you mentioned, I think this is a complete stay away. I'm throwing up my hands. I mean, I know the Titans completely collapsed down the stretch last season. Total collapse, fell apart. But Mike Vrabel is a pretty good coach. I have a lot of respect for him and his ability to get the most out of his players. So I think they're going to turn in a plucky performance in the Big Easy in week 1. So I'm staying away from this one. I don't have a good read on either of these teams, really, especially the Saints. I have no idea what to make of the Saints this year.
Yeah, I look, I think when Alvin Kamara comes back, I'll have a better idea of what to make of the Saints. But at this point right now, I'd still give them the advantage being at home. I think that's enough right now. I think Tennessee is still trying to figure out their personnel. Another one here is trying to figure out the personnel, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are traveling to Minnesota. And Fitz, I'm just going to call this one right here. I know they are 6-point underdogs here in Minnesota. I think they should be. I don't think it's enough. I really don't. I think Minnesota is going to put a hurtin' on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they are going to struggle to put points on the board. I think they're going to struggle to move the chains. I think Minnesota is, not a great defensive team, but I think they're good enough to stifle this offense. So the number is 45.5. What's hard for me on this one, though, is Tampa would have to put up enough points for me to really get excited about Tampa. I think this is a one-sided game. I think it's Minnesota, and I don't think it's close. Pat, do you think I'm wrong?
I don't necessarily think you're wrong, Joe, but I mean, the Vikings were such a weird case last year, going 13-4, yet being outscored on the season and ranking 27th overall in DVOA. This was a very mediocre team masquerading as a good team last year. I mean, the Vikings went 11-0 in one-score games, which explains that good record. I can't totally bury the Bucs, Joe, because they're a veteran team. I mean, obviously the downgrade from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield is significant, to say the least. But man, I am very Viking skeptical this season, so I'm just staying away from this one, to be honest.
Fair enough. I like the if I can get the individual total on Minnesota, I'll take the over. That's how I feel. I don't want to bet the combined total. I want the individual Minnesota Viking total. I don't want anything to do with the Bucs because they're a hot mess as far as I'm concerned. Now, here's one. I know this was kind of the darling trap game a couple weeks ago in a lot of people's minds. I don't think it's that anymore. Jonathan Taylor's not playing for the Colts. Anthony Richardson is a giant work in progress, and I love the kid. I do. But Jacksonville, 4.5 point road favorites in this one. 45 is the number. If you like the Colts for the upset at home, plus 190. Now, it would not shock me if the Colts won this football game, right? In division games, we know they're all chippy. Maybe Jacksonville's overlooking the Colts. I don't know. I don't think they're going to. And historically, the Colts have struggled against the Jacksonville Jaguars anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, the whole notion of the narrative out there that the Colts are somehow, this is the dangerous game. I don't think the Colts are dangerous. Pat, do you?
No, and the Colts are going to be bad this year, Joe. And I think their refusal to negotiate with Jonathan Taylor is kind of a telltale that they're playing the long game this year. I don't think they're really in it to win it for 2023. And, the Jaguars came a long way last year under Doug Peterson, but I'm not sure I'm smitten enough with Jacksonville to lay 4.5 points on the road. And this number's even gone up to 5 in some spots. Even against a bad team, I just don't know if I have that much faith in the Jags just yet. But I'll tell you this, Joe, I am hammering the under here. Do you remember when now Colts head coach Shane Steichen was the Eagles offensive coordinator 2 years ago, when Jalen Hurts was not yet the fully formed Jalen Hurts that wreaked havoc on the league last season? The Eagles went insanely run heavy over the second half of that first Jalen Hurts season as a starter. They were running the ball in 64% of their offensive snaps over the second half of that season, I think. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were practically running the wishbone in Indianapolis this year.
You're probably right. But I mean, God, no offense to Evan Hull, Fitz, and no offense to Deion Jackson, whatever's left there. But I don't think that's going to get it done either. But you're right. It's going to portend to the under because they're going to drain clock.
The passing game isn't getting it done either, Joe. This offense is just going to be dysfunctional this year, at least until they get Jonathan Taylor back, if they get Jonathan Taylor back. So, I mean, seeing a total in the mid 40s, even if Jacksonville is able to put up points, I don't think Indy does its share in this game to get this one over the total.
This next one's an enigma for me. The Miami Dolphins and the Chargers. The Chargers are 3-point home favorites. You can get Miami at 2.5 though on +2.5 on FanDuel, even money. 51 is the number you're seeing this, 50.5 and some other spots for the under. So it's pretty close there. Now, look, if you like this game, you might as well just go with Miami on the +145 to just win outright. Like that's my only approach that I could tell you for this game, because this is one of the classic 4 outcome games on a schedule that typically I stay away from. We don't have Jeffrey Wilson Jr. We're not sure if we're going to get Devon Achane yet, as of us recording this. So the run game is suspect. Jalen Waddle's health is suspect, but that could even push this number higher in the days to come as there's more uncertainty. And it just would probably make me like the Dolphins on the upset even more. We know wacky things happen. Fitz, would it shock you if the Dolphins went out there to LA and won this football game?
No, not at all. And if I was going to play this, and I am not,
not either.
I would probably follow you on that one, Joe, and take the money line. But it sounds like you're not even really doing that. I'm
waiting for it to get bigger because I think it's going to. I think the more uncertainty starts to creep in over the next 7 days, people are going to get more and more Charger, a home, advantage, blah, blah, blah. And then it becomes like the better paradise where you just say, I have nothing to lose. It's all plus money. Let's try.
Yeah, I mean, it seems shameful that we are glossing over like one of the most exciting games on the week 1 slate. Like people are going to be hammering this game in DFS, and like it could be a really fun game. But man, I just think the lines are too tight here. I have no interest in betting it.
It's going to be a fun DFS game, but fun DFS games do not make fun wagering games all the time.
Right.
Sometimes the total, like if anything, you can also look at the total for this one, the 50, and if you can get it down to 50.5, maybe you go that route too. Like that I can understand, that I can see. But the Jalen Waddle health and uncertainty too is like, if he should be out this game, like you get a last minute thing on him. I don't know. This one feels a little off to me. I'm going to stay away. The Los Angeles Rams are going to travel to Seattle. This is another in-division matchup. The number on this one, 47.5. You can get it 47 as well. The spread varies too. You can get it on DraftKings, +4 on the Los Angeles side, -4.5 on Seattle at Sugar House. The Cooper Kupp hamstring issue. Now they could be down Cooper Kupp for this game potentially, or at least not 100% Cooper Kupp at the very least. This is another one where it feels weird, yet Seattle is a pretty strong favorite already. I don't know if there's any value left on this game.
No, and this line has been moving up a little too, Joe, presumably based on the news that Cooper Kupp is looking really iffy for this game. And I kind of doubt he plays based on the way things have been going. A hamstring setback, like less than 10 days before the start of the season. Probably not a good indicator of a guy who's going to play. The Seahawks were a playoff team a year ago, and the Rams are going to be one of the 4 or 5 worst teams in football this year, along with the Cardinals, Texans, Colts, and maybe the Raiders. So I'm taking the Seahawks here, and I'm trying to grab it before this line gets much higher. And I also kind of like the under here. Like I don't know what the Rams offense looks like if Cooper Kupp doesn't play.
Here's an interesting one too. The New England Patriots are going to host the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that I am heavily invested in already. Now, the number for this game, you can get the under at 44.5 on DK at -108. You can get the over at 45 on FanDuel. Those are the best numbers currently here going in to the weekend. Then you have 3.5 basically is the number here you're looking at, where the Eagles are favored on the road. Now, New England is an interesting home underdog. It's just, I don't know if this offense can keep up with the Eagles at the end of the day. This is another game where it would not shock me if the Patriots, in classic week 1 fashion, pull off a squeaker, but I just don't think this game for me is one I want to invest in. How about you? Do you see this one as just like New England's going to get their butt handed to them? This is not like the fan speaking in me. This is the week 1 better speaking in me. That this one, again, sometimes when it looks too good to be true, oftentimes it is.
Yeah, this is like the Joe Pisapia Bowl.
I know, right?
You've been all over. No one's been all over the Eagles in futures betting like you, and the Patriots are your team. So, and
I'll bet against the Patriots all day long when it makes sense. But this one's tough, Pat, because defensively they're going to be prepared. It's just what are they offensively? And that to me is the one thing. Like maybe that 44.5. Maybe this game is a little less thrilling from the offensive side, then we realize it becomes more of a defensive struggle. Like that I could see. That might be the most appealing approach to this game for me. But who's going to win? This one's a little tricky. I could see the Eagles blowing them out, and I could see the Patriots, winning on a field goal here, like by 1 point at the end of the game. It's very weird, this game.
Right. I mean, it does feel like the Eagles are miles better than the Patriots, but I
They are miles better.
Sure. But I can't bring myself to bet against Bill Belichick as a 3.5 point home underdog. Like maybe if it got to 3, I'd be a little bit interested, but probably not. I'm just going to walk away from this one. It's a strange game. Like you said, I could see an Eagles blowout. I could see the Patriots winning outright. This one is a hard game to get a read on.
Yeah, I love the Eagles. It's just sometimes you know it and I know it. Like these teams come out a little flat, after the Super Bowl loss a little bit, and you're out there. They're going to have some tricks up their sleeve. I just don't know if New England can do enough at the end of the day to win this game, but I think they're going to keep it close, Pat. I really do. I could be wrong, but again, this one scares me a little bit because it looks too easy. Like Eagles, I want to take the Eagles every week, and I'm going to take the Eagles most weeks on this show. And it's not because they're playing the Patriots. It's because it's week 1. And it just feels a little bit too good to be true for me. Let's go into your wheelhouse now. The Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. 43.5 is the number pretty much everywhere on this one. You're getting the Bears against the Packers. I know this is insulting already. 1.5 point favorites at home currently. If you like Green Bay to win, outright on the money line plus 105. And I do, Pat. I still believe Green Bay is the better defensive team. I think Green Bay has the potential to run this football, control the clock a little bit. It's just, can they keep Justin Fields from making one play too many on them? That to me is the difference maker in this game. How is your approach to this one, if at all?
Yeah, so we get the oldest, most storied rivalry in the NFL in week 1. This is in my wheelhouse, Joe. I'm in the Chicago area. I'm a naturally Wisconsin-born Packers fan. The line movement in this game has been really interesting. The Bears were favored by 2.5 points for most of the summer. I actually got the Packers at 3 at one point in, I believe, June. That was way back in June. I think there are 2 key reasons for the line movement. One is that the Bears are pretty banged up right now in some key areas. Offensive line, Tevin Jenkins, maybe their best offensive lineman, won't play, and they've got some other guys who are banged up. And their safeties, Eddie Jackson and Jaquan Brisker, are both hurt and questionable. The other factor here, Joe, the Packers, the vibes on this team and on this offense in particular have actually been really good. Surprisingly good considering the inexperience they have at quarterback and with their pass catchers. I mean, you've got Jordan Love, who's been in the league for 3 years now, but has only started 1 game. And you've got a pass catching group who, unless you count backup tight end Josiah DeGuara, which I do not, no one has more than 1 season of NFL experience at either receiver or tight end. And yet the Packers have looked really good in the preseason. This offense has kind of been humming. So, really strange. I'm not interested in betting the line at where it is now. Happy to have gotten the Packers earlier, but, that ship has sailed, the 3 points. You're not getting that anymore. I don't see enough value at +1 for me to take Green Bay. But, I'm kind of with you, though. I think this was a weird line to open. That, the Packers just a little bit more pedigree, even though I think people think these teams are going in opposite directions.
Well, the next game on it, look, we got 3 games left. The next game I want nothing to do with. It's Denver hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. They are 4-point underdogs going into Denver. Maybe they should be more, maybe not. I don't know. Jacobs is going to be back for this one. You have Garoppolo at least here for week 1, theoretically. The number's 44.5, sometimes 44. You can get in some other spots. I don't like Las Vegas for the outright win, but at the same time, my confidence is not strong in Denver, so this game is a hard pass for me, Pat. How about you?
I'm betting the Broncos, Joe.
Okay.
Coaching.
On the 4?
Yeah.
4.5,
I'm laying the points. And I believe in the Denver defense, which was really sneaky good last year, 10th overall in DVOA, and they've got one of the best cover corners in the league in Patrick Surtain Jr. I don't believe in the Raiders and Josh McDaniels at all. I mean, I think Sean Payton is clearly the better man here. I'm willing to lay the points with Denver at home against a hated rival.
Speaking of rivals, about the Giants on Sunday Night Football hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, 3.5-point favorites going. The Giants are the home dogs yet again here. And I think rightfully so. I think Dallas is the better football team on paper. Absolutely. I know both teams were in the playoffs anyway. 46.5 is the number here. If you like the Giants to win on the money line at plus 145, you can get that number over on PointsBet right now. That's the best one. So, Pat, again, I kind of come to this one and I say, division rival game, strange things happen, home dogs. It makes me push towards the Giants side of this one, but I have yet to make a wager in this one. So do you have any feelings on this game here that can sway me one way or another? Because I always like those home dogs, but I don't know if the Giants are in the same space as the Cowboys defensively.
I'm in the same space you are in, Joe.
Oh, no.
Like I am leaning towards the home dog. I love me a good home dog in week one. But, and certainly the Giants are kind of a live dog here. Like, this is a good team to be a home dog. But it's a stay away for me. Mm-hmm. Really intriguing matchup, but I do think the Cowboys are legitimate Super Bowl contenders. I just can't lay the points though. Yeah. And I can't lay the points. Not going to take the points either.
Monday Night Football, 9/11, right? So they're going to be doing ceremonies there in New York. First game in this building for Aaron Rodgers to play quarterback for the New York Jets. They're playing the Buffalo Bills, another team from the state of New York. This game has so much emotion running through it, Pat. It's going to be a wild night. It's going to be great television, I think. I think this is going to do a smash rating. I really do. And at the end of the day, if you're looking at the number, the Jets are 2-point home dogs, minus 110 on that number. 46.5. 46, you're getting this number, the total of different spots. If you like the Jets just for the outright win here at home with all the good vibes, plus 125. I was on Sports Grid TV yesterday talking about this game, Pat, and they asked me a question about this game, and they said, what will you take away? What's the big takeaway from this game, the next morning? And I said, anything that happens is temporary. If the Jets win this game, it doesn't mean anything necessarily. It means the emotion of the night carried in this incredible crowd that will be very hyped up. If they lose this game, it doesn't mean they're not good enough to compete with the Buffalo Bills. So everybody's going to put way too much into this game. I'm going to put almost nothing into it because I think there's just so much surrounding this game. Monday Night Football, isolated game, Aaron Rodgers, primetime, 9/11 in New York. I don't know, Pat, how do you look at this one? Because this is one where I just want to watch it on TV, but from an investment standpoint, Garrett Wilson, anytime touchdown scorer, over on receiving yards, that's the stuff I'm looking for. Outside of that, maybe some James Cook numbers. I like the individuals more than the game itself.
Jets, Jets. Joe, I actually like the Jets here a lot. I really do.
I can see that.
I said I like a good home dog in week one. This is a home dog I love. And that Jets defense is potentially special.
Very good. Yeah.
They can generate pressure without blitzing. Their pass coverage in the secondary, led by second-year corner Sauce Gardner, is going to be fantastic. The Bills have a lot of offensive firepower, but I think they're going to have a hard time moving against the ball against this defense, as will every other team that plays the Jets this year. And I'm also smashing the under here, Joe. The Jets, great defense, and they have a bad offensive line. That is a winning under combo, I think, especially with the total at 40, 46?
Right now, 46.5. Some spots have it at 46 flat, so it depends on.
Oh man, if 46.5 sounds really good right now. So yeah, I think this game is going to be played both teams scoring in the teens. I could see like a 19-17 type of game here.
I gotta tell you, I just think there's going to be so much running through everybody's veins in this game. If anything, Pat, you know what I might do? I might look for the first quarter no score, where it's just everything is just everybody is so hyped, right? Everyone's just absolutely brimming. Whatever the first quarter numbers are, I might attack that, or maybe the first half numbers. I think maybe I isolate this one a little bit. I think there's just going to be so much pomp and circumstance, so much attention. And I think there's going to be nerves. And look, let's not pretend all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers answered the bell every time at one of these big spots in his career, because he hasn't. He hasn't necessarily answered the bell every single time in these, especially lately. So this is, Hard Knocks is over. Now the hard work begins. We want to know from you, though. Drop your comments below. Subscribe to Betting Pro so you're with us all season long, wherever you get your pods. And also, drop that comment. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/bettingpros, and you can win the Aaron Jones autographed jersey. Don't forget to download the app as well so you can stay on top of all the moving lines. You can follow us at bettingpros.com/Joe, bettingpros.com/Fitz, and join the NFL contest. bettingpros.com/NFL contest, or if you already downloaded the app, just go to the community tab and join today. We want to get hundreds of people in this thing. I want thousands of people in this thing. I want to have fun. I want to make picks. And if you're the big winner every week, you're going to get mentioned on the show. I'm going to make you famous. So join us for all of that. Oh man, it is so good to talk about these games, Fitz. We are back. Let's go. It's football time. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Pat Fitzmaurice, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.